everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV. We had some great games last week. We had three of them, actually. Finished off with the national champion RCC Tigers with a big, huge win over Long Beach City at Wheelock Stadium. And I'll tell you what, it was a great, great experience. Love to see everybody back in Riverside. But we have a slate of games this week as well, including King versus Poly. The rivalry will be at Wheelock Stadium. I'm sure everybody will be out there in force to check out that game. And right now, we have the coach of those Martin Luther King Wolves, the great Jason McMains. How are you today, Jason?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing, Jeff?
Well, I'm not as good as you. You're undefeated on this year so far. But hey, tell us what's going on. I mean, you guys are playing pretty good football.
We are. I'm real proud of how the players have responded to the start of the season, getting that big win out in Roosevelt. Then we've had a couple good weeks after that. Started off the Riverside rivalry with North, which I thought was a great game. So I'm just proud of the kids that have come out. We've dealt with a little bit of adversity here and there. You know, it seems like every week. The good thing is, like you said, we're off to a good start, but we're not at full strength. So part of the preseason is, trying to figure out some depth and adding some pieces before we get into league. And I thought we've been able to do a good job with that, with some guys at other spots, other positions, plugging guys in due to injury and everything. And I'm just real proud of the boys and how they've responded so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have a pretty good player in Derek Kahn. I think he had 6 of 11 for a touchdown and 90 yards. Man, how special has he been so far?
He's been great. He's had such a great off season for us. From spring to summer to fall camp. Went in as our number one receiver. Part of the adversity for us is just now having some quarterback issues early on. We started a sophomore kid at Logan Elrod, who I thought did a tremendous job for us. Stepping in that role, and unfortunately he broke his collarbone third quarter of that game, and we had an emergency package built in for that purpose, and it came about, and he stepped in and finished the game off. Derek did against Roosevelt, and since then we've just kind of tried to piece some things together offensively with what he does very well, kind of as a dual threat guy. But it's a little interesting just because he hasn't really worked it very much. But like I said, I'm real proud of how he's handled it. I'm proud of the entire team and how they've handled it. And Derek, it's always good when you are able to have, a good athlete touching the ball every single time. He's able to make some things happen in the passing game and also running the ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys played North last week. Poly actually played very well against North earlier in the season. What do you think about this Poly team?
I think Coach Gilbert and his staff has done a tremendous job. They play hard. They're very physical. They're very athletic in the back end. It's great to have a opponent like this in such a big rivalry game at RCC. So we're excited, but hats off to the Poly Bears and what they've been able to do so far.
And speaking of that, Wheelock Stadium, I know it's got to be kind of fun for you guys as well, playing at a great field where the college national championships play. How fun is it being back at Wheelock?
I love it. I played at RCC. I've coached at RCC. I think my first, actually, a little bit of history. My first varsity football game was when I was a sophomore at Jurupa Valley playing Notre Vista when they were at RCC. And so that's it's always been a home to me. I was there when I was the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. We were there. Those were our home field. So anytime we can play a game at that campus, I love it. I think it's a great atmosphere.
Well, Coach, congratulations so far on your early success. You're 3-0. You're going to play against a rival Riverside Poly. We're going to have the game. Ghazal and I will be there at 7 p.m. Friday night. Looking forward to seeing you and watching the Martin Luther King Wolves for the first time this year on Riverside TV. Thanks, Coach, for your time and energy and effort. As always, I love you, Coach.
Love you too, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, he is the great Jason McMains. And when we come back, we will have flag football. We have Norte Vista High School flag football team will be on the coach's perspective, and we're going to learn a little bit about what's going on in the city of Riverside right here on Riverside TV. And welcome back to the coach's perspective here on Riverside TV, as we are now joined by flag football heroes over at Norte Vista High School. How's it going, Norte Vista High School flag football team?
We're doing great, Coach. Thanks for having us on.
Well, we are joined by Matt Cow and Ramsey Ali, the co-head coaches of Norte Vista High School. I'll tell you what, I've watched you guys play a few times this season. I get to do the clock. But let's talk first of all, how exciting is it to start a new sport at Norte Vista? You have all these pioneer of these student athletes. How is it starting a new program?
Well, not just the new program at Norte Vista. CIF just came out with this as an official varsity sport last season, and we were lucky to be a part of that opening inaugural season. We had about 25 girls on varsity this year, and we've been blessed enough to open up to both a varsity and a JV program. We're up to about 40 girls, and just like we said, we're off to a strong start, and we're just excited to see how this sport goes, not only in Southern California, but I guess across the nation now that schools are opening this up as a college level sport.
Now, I'm going to ask the girls this question. Maybe you can have somebody answer this for me. Are you having fun playing football? And do you get nervous out there playing in the stadium in front of all those people?
I'll let, this is going to be Destiny Morales, our leader on the defense here. And as you mentioned, our stadium, we have that brand new stadium field out there, and it's been awesome. I'll let Destiny take it now.
I've been enjoying playing football so far because I'm a big football fan. So the fact that I get the opportunity to play with my best friends is really awesome. And to answer the nervous question, yes, it's nerve-wracking, but as long as you have fun, everything turns out well. And yeah, it's just a fun sport to play with everybody.
Now, Coach Ramsey, I know you've been heavily involved. You guys do co-head coaches, and now you guys, last year there was no playoffs. This year there are playoffs. Maybe you can explain to us how it kind of works out the divisions and how do you get into the playoffs?
Yeah, so the amount of divisions is currently very fluid. CIF is going based off of how many teams have committed to fielding. Currently, we're at 5 divisions. They are following the competitive equity that a lot of the other sports are following now. And so we are in a 6-man league. It is the River Valley League, although we had to adopt 2 other schools because Rubidoux and Jurupa Valley don't field teams. So in our league, we will have 3 auto qualifiers. Across all of Southern Section, there will be a large amount of at-large teams, it looks like, based on 5 divisions.
Well, that sounds good. It sounds like you guys are on pace. You guys have a winning record right now. I've seen you play a few times. You got some great wins in this. But let me talk to one of your offensive players here. Who can I talk to next there, Coach?
We're going to turn this over to our center, Jessica Stafford. She's over here on the side.
Hi, Jessica. How you doing out there?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Now, I have a question for you. Is it learning the offenses? Is it been difficult for you, or did you have a football background, or is it just you tell me? Is it hard to learn these different plays, and do you study film? What do you guys do?
At first it is difficult to learn all the plays, but watching film, it makes it a lot easier.
Now, do you go out now, Coach Cal, Matt Cal? Do you go out and scout these teams? I mean, what are you guys doing to get ready for these certain games you're playing?
So I come from I guess you can call it the Coach Batdorf football tree. I've been coaching tackle the last several years with him. And then when we switched over to flag, it's almost turned into a just miniature version of that. Most teams are on huddle. We trade film. We get film passed around, and we're looking at as much clips and film as we can, just maybe trying to get that upper hand or just kind of see what we're up to. Obviously, the sport is very new. Coaches change, players change, but we treat it as a serious sport here because we do have high expectations. Like Coach Ali mentioned, these divisions are going to be 32-team divisions, a little bit different than tackle football. So games and the playoffs are going to be happening Tuesdays and Saturdays, Tuesdays, Saturdays, and it moves very quickly. It's a very fast-paced game. So it is comparable to tackle, but at the same time, a totally different sport in that things move so quick, so quick.
All right, now here's my last question for you. Who's your big rival? Who do you guys look forward to playing every year? And have you guys played them yet? And when is your next game? Tell us so people can get out there and watch.
So we've got a pretty strong competition in the River Valley League. So our competition, our teams in the River Valley are Indian Springs, Loma Linda Academy, La Sierra, Patriots, us, and then Coach McAllister over at Ramona runs a great program. She had a very strong season last year. They won the River Valley League, so that's always somebody that has great competition with. We ended up second place last year. Other teams, we can say Coach Marcus over at Hillcrest. We got them twice last year. They got us this year, so we're turning over that Alvord District Championship possibly over to them this year. So there's a lot of competition. It's just great seeing all the programs thrive right now, and then all the different coaching staffs, different offenses. It's just been great seeing this come off as a brand new CIF sport this year.
Well, guys, it's been wonderful having you. You guys are all trailblazers, and like I said, it's fun to watch. Make sure you go out and watch the Norte Vista Braves and the rest of our flag football teams in the city of Riverside. They are fantastic, like I said, and working so hard. When's your next game so we can get out there and watch it, Coach?
Our next game, home game, is actually we'll be hosting the River Valley, session on. We're playing Ramona on the 23rd of September. Yeah, all the River Valley teams will meet up here, and we'll be playing Ramona that day. So that should be a great competition game that day.
Well, take care of my alma mater. Don't be too mean to them over at Ramona High School. But thank you again, coaches and ladies, for joining us on the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV. Go Braves. Thank you very much, ladies. Good night.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll be right back with more here on the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV. And welcome back to the Coach's Perspective here on Riverside TV, as we are now joined by a guy with a cool hat and the head coach of the Riverside Poly Bears, the great Jerron Gilbert. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, doing great. Getting ready for this big game, and looking forward to it.
How did you get that hat? Is that a bear paw on a big straw hat?
Oh yeah. We got the team logo, little sun protection. What we got going on here?
Hey, well, Coach, I'll tell you what, it's great to see you again. We're going to have you on Riverside TV this Friday night against Martin Luther King. You guys are 1-1 so far on this early season. How are you feeling so far after 2 weeks?
We're 1-1 obviously, so we're trying to stay the path. Last week kind of got away from us. We didn't get things going offensively, but now we're back to getting things rolling again and getting things back in order. So looking to show up in a big way this weekend for a good game.
Well, Coach, your line has been good so far. I talk about defensively. You've got Benji Matthews on that team. Coach, when are we going to see Benji Matthews run the football? We saw it last year a little bit. I want to see that guy run because he is ferocious on defense. Are we going to see any Benji Matthews at running back or fullback this year?
I'm not going to put anything out there this year, definitely. So that's in the works this year. But right now, we're just going to execute the game plan we have to win this weekend, and get our best personnel out there. Ben's a great football player all around. So there's a million things he can do. He's one of our best pass blockers. So we can use him in a bunch of places.
Well, I'll tell you what, he is sure fun to watch, and your entire team this year's really been a pleasant surprise, especially after a great run last year. But what are your thoughts on this Martin Luther King team coached by Jason McMains?
Well, Coach McMain's been running a great program over there. They execute well. Some of the things they do, they're creative offense. They have a lot of good things going for them. The defense gets after it. They show different looks. They bring pressure. So, we're preparing for their best because they're going to show up prepared. And we just got to be sound in what we do and play hard start to finish.
Now, Coach, another question. Since we're only in week 3 for you, can you give us a couple names of guys that you had no idea that they would be this special or worked this hard and surprise you? Any guys on your team that you go, that kid surprised me?
You know what? Everybody's kind of doing what we've seen from them. Certain guys that maybe didn't play last year are picking it up and showing up in a big way. Elijah Williamson, one of our safeties, he's been doing well for us. A lot of guys are out there doing what we expected them to, though. What they proved in the off season is what they're showing on film now, and we just look to continue, what we're doing out there, and certain guys even come through and step up some more. But no big surprises over here as far as performances. We have MJ returning this year, Michael Gaines, and he's been doing a lot in the return game for us. Obviously, Maddox had the big run from the punter spot, but we knew he was a fast kid, and he's been grinding all off season as a punter to perform his best. And the D-line showing what we thought they can do, and so we're just looking to continue with what we have.
Now, how nice is it to have your home field back? And I tell you what, it's the most fun field to watch football in the entire city of Riverside. That's Wheelock Stadium. How excited are you, and how excited are your guys being back in the home turf of RCC?
No, I mean it's huge for us. I mean, for me, I'm super excited to be down at RCC. We have some orange on the field now. We're back to our original home stadium, and we don't have to play King at home in their home. Ultimately, you go down there, it doesn't matter what sideline you're on. There's still a certain feeling, but now we get to have home games officially, where we can call RCC our original home again, and it's huge for our boys. They're all excited, and we're just looking to go out there and perform for our home crowd.
Now, you guys are having your Hall of Fame at Riverside Poly. This new induction class is coming in. Coach Mike Churchill, who's a dear friend of mine, is going in. Do you know anything about when this the Hall of Fame ceremony is taking place? Is it this week or next week?
It's my understanding homecoming weekend, or next week. Going into homecoming, we'll be doing the Hall of Fame inductions and everything. So, not this weekend.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, you have Riverside Ramona back on the schedule. That will be the rematch of the CIF finals from last year or this past season. Coach, as always, you are doing a great job at Riverside Poly. You are a breath of fresh air, and we really look forward to seeing you play on Friday night versus your rival, Martin Luther King. Thank you for joining us. Get back to your practice, and we'll see you Friday night, Coach. All right, well, he's the great Jerron Gilbert, the head coach of Riverside Poly. We'll see him Friday night. When we come back, we're going to finish off the show with the great Pep Fernandez and his thoughts on RCC and everything Riverside football. And welcome to the final segment here on Riverside TV. It's my favorite segment ever, because my dearest and best friend in the whole world, Pep Fernandez, is joining me. Pep, how are you?
Jeffrey, listen, I'm wearing my post-Labor Day white jacket for you because I'm going against the grain, man. I got some bold predictions for you this week.
All I know is you look like somebody from Miami Vice. You look like Sonny Crockett, if anybody remembers the old Miami Vice TV show. Do you have a Ferrari or a big boat?
Oh, of course I do. I just didn't bring it today. But yeah, I got one at home. Both of them.
Well, Pep, we're in, I think, week 3 of high school and college football here in the city of Riverside. We've had some pretty good games, but let's recap Saturday night as we had the national champion RCC Tigers taking on their rivalry, Long Beach City. How fun was that to start the season at Wheelock Field? It was packed. What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, Jeff, here's my big takeaways. Coming off a state championship and a national championship, of course, there's tons of question marks, right? Is RCC going to be as good again? Are they going to be better? Are they going to take a step back? What are they going to look like this year? If you go back to last season against Long Beach City, that was a 5-point game. I think RCC won 45-40, I think it was. So this time around to win by 20 plus, I mean, that was a signature win, especially with a lot of new players on both sides of the football, including quarterback Brady Jones. I know Divine Pearson is back at running back, and he's going to get a lot of carries this upcoming season, the former Chaparral High School star. But I think they answered a lot of those questions going into the first game of the season. They are still really, really good.
Yeah, think about it. They lost 30 players that moved on to four-year schools, and they just rebuilt. I mean, they look really, really good. They still have Eastside Bulger, who I think is the best defensive end in all of community college football. He is a big-time player. I think he could play on Sundays eventually. He's that good a player. But let's talk about the games this week. We have a couple. We have Martin Luther King, who's 3-0, playing against their rival back at Wheelock Stadium, Riverside Poly. What are your thoughts on that with Jason McMains and Jerron Gilbert going head-to-head?
Listen, I mean, it's two kind of different storylines here. Riverside Poly coming off that run to a CIF Southern Section Championship game appearance. That was awesome. And King off to a 3-0 start this year. In fact, if the Wolves get a win against the Bears, Jeff, they'll be 4-0 going up against a very good Murrieta Valley team in their final non-league game. So I think each team has a lot to play for going into this. Aside from just being a huge rivalry game, Wheelock is going to be bursting at the seams. There's going to be so many fans there. It's going to be awesome. It's one of the best rivalries in all of the Inland Empire because they have such just great legacy, but also great fan bases, man. The student sections for Poly and King are second to none. So it just all those that combination all comes together to form a great game, which we're very excited to have on Riverside TV.
Well, let's talk about our Thursday night matchup. It's going to be Buena Park versus Arlington. Hey, before the year started, I kind of counted Arlington out. We had Coach Kevin Argamosa on the show just a few minutes ago, and he has that thing going. He's changed his offense a little bit, and he has a great buy-in. Remember, he has David Castro, who's come out of nowhere, the sophomore. He ran for 101 yards last week. He's pretty special as a young player.
Yeah, this Arlington team, again, if you're looking at teams that maybe had some question marks going into the season, Arlington was certainly one of them. That they've played well, and they've played some really close games early on in the season. So I feel like they have something to prove, maybe gain a little bit of momentum, some confidence before they get to, remember, Sunbelt League play now. They'll join Hillcrest and Riverside Poly in that Sunkist League over there, which appears to be wide open. So by the time you get to league play, you got to figure some things out. You got to know what your identity is as a team, what you do well, maybe what you don't do so well. So games like this against Buena Park is another opportunity for the Lions to kind of figure it out before they get to league play, and I think they will.
And remember, they played this Buena Park team last year in Buena Park. They had a double overtime victory. Buena Park made the playoffs, so they were young last year. They're a lot better this year. Should be a good one. But hey, before I let you go, there were a couple players that Dennis Pope and I and yourself, we kind of talked about the best players in the city of Riverside this past week. And I want to mention some names to you, and maybe you can give me a couple little things about each of them. Caden Adams at CSDR. He's my first player of the week. He had 5 total touchdowns. The coach's son, they just keep rebuilding over there.
You said Caden Adams, 5 total touchdowns. My first thought was, well, that's it? Yeah, I mean, he's that good. Like, I thought he'd have more, because they do so much scoring in 8-man football, but he is that good. I thought he'd have 6 or 7 in a game, but he is that good. And certainly with the Cubs, that first Cinderella run, everyone was so excited. They got national attention. But, Jeff, they really haven't skipped a beat. They've been good for several seasons in a row. Thank goodness for the Adams family, right? Yeah. Pun intended. But, Caden Adams, man, he's a star. And 5 touchdowns in a game for him might be an off night.
Exactly. Well, here's a couple. We just mentioned David Castro at Arlington, had 101 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns last week. But here's one that's going to surprise everybody. Seth Bolander from Norte Vista, the quarterback. He was 6 of 8 for 2 touchdowns in the air. Air Batdorf. I'll tell you what, they have a little bit of wrinkle to their game this year.
it sounds like it shouldn't go together. It's like saying, oh yeah, Antarctica has a really nice beach. You're like, what? Why would Antarctica, the coldest place in the world, have a nice beach? It's like, why would Norte Vista have a quarterback they'd actually throw and put up good numbers? But that's exactly what's happening. And I saw Coach Batdorf at the very first game of the season, and he warned me. He's like, hey, we're going to throw the football a little bit. We got a great quarterback. We got some receivers that can catch, and we're going to try to mix it up, which, Jeff, you know, the run game and the pass game, it's all cyclical, like if you can do one well, the other one's going to benefit. So if Norte Vista can actually establish the passing game, which they have been doing with Seth Bolander, it's only going to open things up for, Jaden Henderson, the road runner, Dreddy Elaine, and all those guys out there that run the football for Norte Vista. They're just going to be even better running the rock.
Yes, they will. And the last player on this list, our other player of the week, we're going to see him Friday night, and that's Derek Kahn of Martin Luther King. Hey, he was 6 of 11. He had 90 rushing yards and a TD in their victory last week over John W. North. King, they lose players to baseball. They've gone on, but Jason McMains has done a great job over there, hasn't he? And Derek Kahn is our last player of the week.
Yeah, he certainly has. You talked about Coach McMains and the job he's been able to do and kind of filling gaps and players here, players gone. Who does he have? Well, their quarterback situation, they didn't even go into the season with their starting quarterback, and Derek Kahn, who is a wide receiver by trade, a very good receiver, I should say, has stepped in at quarterback, and they have not skipped a beat. This offense is still, chugging along, and Derek Kahn is the ultimate team player. Like, basically went to Coach McMains and said, whatever you need. I played a little quarterback back in the day. I think I can still do it. And he's doing it, very well. So Derek Kahn, I get why he's one of your players of the week, because again, a receiver turned quarterback on a 3-0 team, could be 4-0 going in against Murrieta Valley. He's having a special season right now, being able to do a lot of different things like a Swiss Army knife for Coach McMains.
Well, Pep, I'm going to let you go solve more crimes on the Miami beat. As you look, like I said, you're wearing white after Labor Day. And it is, it's today's Wednesday. It's White Pants Wednesday, but you're going White Jacket Wednesday. Pep, we're going to see you Friday night on the Friday Night Pep Rally, where we're going to have all the scores, highlights, and what else do we have on the Pep Rally? A lot of hijinks and merriment. Does that sound better?
Yeah, I'm just glad we got a show this week, Jeff. I wasn't sure for a day or two because of all the the situation going on across Riverside County and Inland Empire with the fires and the air quality. But it looks like we can safely bring football back this week, and we'll have the Friday Night Pep Rally. So we'll have a lot of fun and a lot of highlights.
Well, Pep Fernandez, make sure you check him out on the Inland Sports Show on YouTube. Tune in. And then Friday Night Pep Rally with Pep Fernandez and this guy. We always have fun. And once again, everybody, thank you for watching The Coach's Perspective, the best show on TV here in the Inland Empire, as Pep Fernandez thinks it's not, but it is.
It's okay.
Award-winning. Thanks for everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in every single week, as we love to give you the greatest high school and college football across the entire city of Riverside. Thanks, Pep. We'll see you Friday night. And we will see everybody this week for our 2 games on Riverside TV. So good night, everybody.